Welcome back, one all. We're back again, and I thought I'd share something interesting that I came across in my mind yesterday. Um, you see, whenever I was studying for things, or whenever I was, um, you know, like doing work, I always kind of need someone to be able to report back the things that I've been thinking about in my head. And so this used to mean that when I was doing my dissertation back at home or back in uni, I would literally just like sit in the kitchen talking to my uni mates about my dissertation and literally just going over the same topics and subjects, just constantly like restating them. And with every restate of them, I kind of was able then to like have a re-examination and be able to bring more clarity to it. And that's kind of how I am, I think, at least when it comes to writing. That's how I think I become more creative, when I keep on renewing onto something that I've written before, because then each time I'm like, oh, this could lead to this idea, oh, this could lead to that idea. And so I was writing yesterday about some of the things that I kind of want to do with what I'm doing with all of this stuff, and like just in life in general. And it occurred to me that I was like, oh yeah, like I want to just correct that. Um like oh yeah, it all came to me clearly, clearer. And so I thought I'd share with you some of the things I wrote. So with a lot of the things that I want to create, I haven't like known why I want to create them in a way. I felt like I've needed some kind of justification for why I should do things. Like I shouldn't just make a video game for the sake of it. It should be for like a kind of a reason. Or I shouldn't just make music. It should be like for a purpose, for a reason. And yeah, because I think there's still like that maybe a little part of me that still thinks I have to justify these things, whether that's fair or not. It's just how it operates at the moment. And so I think I established reasons for why I should do everything that I'm doing or want to do in the future. And because I've been able to find that, I actually think that's an incredibly important thing that I've found, and it's actually made me really feel motivated towards like basically just doing anything that I'm doing at the moment. So actually, it might be on here. Yeah, I've got my laptop here as well. Um, and so I also thought about how, there are other people out there, like for instance, Damien Talks Money, and he has a YouTube channel where he talks about personal finance and how to like get it better. And so I don't really have those types of skills. And there's other people like Andrew Huberman, who also have like, they've worked in like labs and science backgrounds for a long time, and so they have he studies neuroscience, right? So these people have deep knowledge, skill sets that they can share with the world. And I think that a key thing about me is that I don't really have any skill sets because I haven't really done anything yet. So, well, which is okay because I'm still like young. There have been obviously people at other ages who've done more than me, but it doesn't matter about how much I've done now. It just matters about how much I'll do to be able to just expand my skills. So I thought to myself that other people will actually be able to provide better grounds for how you can improve yourself. Like I'm no nutritionist, I'm no personal finance guy, I'm no like gym bro, but I could what I could do is I can't help people in those areas, but I can help motivate them to be able to want to improve their lives. And so I think that, like I wrote here, for instance, that my I wrote here that like my manga that I want to write, because I want to write a manga or a series of mangas, can be there to help light the fire within people to change their lives for the best. The music that I want to make like a bunch of mixes, and maybe also like maybe an album or two of my own. I've written it can be there to give people energy and a sense of momentum. In general, also like art in general, in my opinion, is all about the creation of like sensations. I mean, I know I've already given a different definition of art, which is like controlling variables to be able to execute something in a very specific way. But I guess that is kind of what art also is in a way, and the actual production of art is like the production of particular types of sensations for people. Arguably, but all that's like one kind of loose definition we can use sometimes if we want to. So yeah, so like that's what I'd see my music as an ability to start like producing sensations for people, like happy and sad, motivating, despairing, optimistic, anything like that. And that's what I want a lot of my music to be like, or the mixes I make of other people's music. I also want to make some video games, and I also want to and I want these to be taken like largely inspired from Robert Greene's way that he's kind of approached kind of philosophy and like self-improvement stuff. It's kind of very anti-moralism. It's almost bordering on like a kind of scary kind of amoralism of like nothing really matters apart from like a way to get what you want from life. And so I think that can run into its own problems, but largely I want to when I make these video games, each of the games will be set in the same world but at different periods of time, and I want to be able to show that sometimes there's better ways of acting than others, and this comes from like my own philosophical views, which have become more and more anti-universalist. I still believe, like for instance, like Kantianism is a really helpful system, like logically or like to like reasonably, because people can reason and be like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense, and that can be a point where people can agree on things. But I'm also very more so against universalism nowadays, because it seems like too much of an oversimplification about the world. It's like this idea that we can just nicely, like, if we all just behave like Jesus, then the whole world will go great, or if we behave like the Buddha, then it will. And I don't think that's right. Like, and then you've got to use different leadership skills to appeal to different people. Sometimes you are going to have to be mean, potentially. Sometimes you're even going to have to be like cruel, maybe. And so I think the better way to be able to act in life isn't to say no to any particular way, but it's to just, or like it isn't about perfecting one technique. It's because not every technique's going to work on everyone. It's to be able to execute all the techniques available to you and all the ways to persuade and, get other people to see things your way. Like, and that's how you kind of navigate your life, to be able to, better, be around people. It's using all the toolboxes and all the dispositions that people have. Yeah, that Pra just came in there, and she wanted me to cut that out. But yeah, essentially, like, I kind of want, I want to show that there isn't just like one technique out there or one way of living, and it's best not to close yourself off and start moralizing about other people using different techniques. Now, that being said, it is everything in moderation, including moderation itself, and obviously there will be some times when some things will be considered like good or evil, or even in these types of things, but largely, like, I just want the practice rather than limit myself to thinking like things are only good or bad, and then you have to avoid doing the bad actions and only do the good actions. It's just to look at every action and every way of doing things as more advantageous or less advantageous in particular situations with particular people who have particular dispositions and who can be persuaded in different ways. So I want my video games to explore all of those different things, to kind of show that using one method isn't going to be helpful in all situations, and so maybe each game will like explore different things like that. What else? Oh, I also wrote about how and then there's the other stuff, which is the YouTube channel you're watching this on, and this is geared towards, as I wrote here, tracking how I optimize my life for my own benefit, and then potentially also sharing things that have helped me, which might be good to consider for yourself as well. So this is a documentation of all the things that are helping me out. I'm hoping that it is, at the end of the day, I hope that it's insightful and helpful for you. One, because that means that I'll have people who return to these videos, and then that will increase the traction, and then ultimately I can then sell a product or get some kind of, I don't transfer the cultural capital that I make on this into some kind of monetary thing, which, being completely open about that's hopefully something I can do. But if I can't do that, then at the very least, at least I have documentation of my own stuff as well. And then also, I hope that it can actually apply to other people as well. I hope that people can go, oh yeah, he tried this thing, and maybe I can try that as well. And if it doesn't work for them, then they try something else. But I basically show all the tools that are available in a situation, and then go, and I use these tools because I think these work best for me. Maybe the other ones will work best for you, but maybe give this one a try and see what you think. And I can provide that kind of helpful, humble, I guess, humble kind of approach to how I've been able to improve something in my life that other people can also use. And then the main YouTube channel, that's where I have a lot more of my overt philosophy and political views. I kind of primarily want to use that as a place to inform people about how I see things, and write it in a kind of persuasive way, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but there's a reason why Aristotle wrote a book about rhetoric, and I think that's because philosophy is forever linked up to rhetoric, and you've always got to advertise, and there's a lot more persuasion to be found in the irrational than the rational, and to ignore that it isn't to be holy or anything, it's just to underutilize your capabilities, and it's understandable that anyone would use more persuasive techniques as well to influence people because they're there. And then I wrote how the exercises that I'll do, whether they're stretches that I've been learning from a chiropractor, or whether they're doing workouts or anything, they're all just about, or even training in a martial art or a combat sport or something. They're all about and I wrote this down as a little quote that I thought was a good one. They're all about, firstly, and obviously, maybe not obviously. I've been saying obviously a lot, but also working on my health, getting good diet. Not only does it make me a sharper weapon to be able to pierce the world in the way I want to, but it also allows me to kind of reflect my own viewpoints. When you see someone who's in shape or something, you understand that they can't have really blagged that in any other way. They had to stick to some kind of routine, and they've also got to, crucially, it's a routine. You can you can go to university and you can work your ass off and get a qualification in something, but then you could then just become like, you could never read up on that thing ever again, and just like, or somehow like blag it or cheat it or something, and so that is not really a representation of how good you are in that moment, like in the present moment, just because you got some kind of first in whatever qualification. But with like your body and your capabilities, they are lived, they're consistent, they are something that is open to change, and so maintenance of that shows that you're actually capable of doing something. And so I wrote, your fists are best to match your words, and your words are best to match your fists. And that's the idea that, like, you should be able to defend your viewpoint, not just with logic, though it's incredibly important, but also you should be able to defend it in your actions as well. To show people that you actually care about what you think as well. And you should also be able to, your words are best to match your fists, in the sense that, like, your fists should also be, you shouldn't just be like some kind of violent person who, like, kills anyone who, like, thinks differently to them, but your fists should match your words, because your words should be strong and you should be able to say things with conviction. But your words should match your fists, because your fists should also be supple, and they should be able to be not like, they should be able to be open and maybe even like soft. They should be welcoming, and should be relaxed. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope that kind of makes the sense that, like, you should be able to be kind of capable of violence, or even, but at the very, very least, like, you should be capable of self-defense and being able to defend yourself and have some kind of level of independence, even if it's not complete, because I don't think it ever can be, but you should be able to have some kind of level of being able to defend yourself and stand up for what you want, while at the same time not being a tyrant who walks over everyone. You should be also open to cooperation and understand that you can't do anything you can't do everything on your own, and if you try to, then, like, your presence in the world will be short. And then, lastly, I then also move on to other things. Like, at the moment I'm doing this project management work, and the project management work will help me to gain a better understanding of how to coordinate a group of people within a power structure towards a particular goal. And that'll be highly important, because if I want to do anything effective, I'll need to work in small levels groups and communicate with them, and be able to establish ways that we can work together in order to propagate whatever thing that we're wanting to do. The project management thing's going to be incredible for that. And then also, like, I want to also, as well as doing project management, I also want to at some point change my career from that into teaching, because I think naturally I just enjoy teaching. A lot of people say that I'm quite patient with people, so they say that I would be a decent teacher, and also I just want to inspire people. I want to inspire people to be able to realize that they can do much more than they realize, and so much of that is through knowledge, because if you know how to do something, then you're far more capable of doing it, and you're actually far more likely to do it than if you don't know how to do something. And even some people will say, like, they know how to do something, but yet they still don't want to do it. But I mean, arguably I'd say that, well, maybe they don't really know how much, like, they should do it, like, according to their own values. Or maybe they know that it's something like that they should do, but they don't know how to do it. And And truly, knowledge is the thing that it brings people together, so people understand each other and can get along and work together. Knowledge is also something that helps us predict the world and be able to then move more easily in it. For instance, like, oh no, I have knowledge that it's going to rain, so I'm just going to have an umbrella. Or, oh, I have knowledge that person's quite hostile, but I also have knowledge about how to deal with people who are hostile. And it just puts you in such a more, relaxed position the more you know about the world. And so yeah, like, what is a teacher but someone who helps others gain knowledge? And yeah, I mean, I just love to be able to help people out in that way. And I just have a passion for being able to, as you can see as evidence in this, I like talking as well. Like when people look up to me and go, oh wow, he's so clever. And then lastly, one of the things I want to do much later in my life, maybe when I'm like in my 60s, is I want to over time accrue wealth such that when I'm older, I have a large amount of money that I can then invest into real estate. And essentially, I'll become a massive landlord. Me and Pra will become giant landlords who own countless houses. But the key thing is, we will charge people only a certain amount. We'll essentially, somehow, and I don't know if I've already spoken to you about this, but somehow we're going to buy a massive, like, fuck off building in like the heart of London or like the heart of capital cities, and we'll charge people extortionate amounts to like live there. And but if you're in the city, like if you're in the center of a city, then you can afford to, like, if you've got the money to pay an extortionate amount, then you're actually, you're probably fine. Like you've already got ridiculous amounts of money anyway. So we'll pay the like billionaires that kind of ridiculous amount of money, and then from that we will gain, like, the money that we get through revenue from that, from like, rent, we will then use to invest into buying other houses, and then like that will trickle down, and we'll kind of buy one giant house, and then maybe like 2 lower income ones, and then like 4 lower income ones from that, and then 8 lower income ones from that, and so on and so on. Just keep on doing that and keep on adding to the portfolio, so much so that we end up with, like, I don't know, I think I must have already told you this, but essentially the idea would be, envisage if, for instance, me and Pra owned 1 million houses, but we only charged each person £1 for rent. Now, logistically, that probably isn't going to be possible, but or £5 or something. That's £5 million in revenue every month, and that could just be used to buy more houses, and which would then decrease it even more. We could invest those £5 million into like tons of houses. We could buy 1 million more houses, and then pay everyone £2.50 and still have 5 million. So the idea would be that we'd kind of cap the amount of money that we want to get in revenue at a certain point, and then any money which we like, any properties that we then continue to buy, all of that money will then start getting reduced from all the other houses, so that at first, and it works out even for like the billionaire or whatever, because they'll eventually have because they'll pay ridiculous amounts at the start, but eventually after like 20 years or something, their house will be like a pound or something. Like their rent will be £1, and that'll be in the center of like a city. So yeah, I'm gonna become a landlord, but like I don't care, because I'll be charging people ridiculously like less than anyone else, and so I'll just be doing a social good in that way. Yeah, so thinking about all of those things and how they all lined up with each other and how they all add up to the same thing that I want to do in my future it really motivated me. I was like, yeah, like I don't feel like I'm going in different directions now. I feel like all of this is working up to one reason. It's like I'm tackling the same thing from multiple directions, which is just I want to help people just have great lives. And that, like, that idea is just, I think that's so powerful for me at least. And so yeah, it's just made me really happy, and hopefully this will be one of the most important videos that I've recorded so far, or ever, like, in this history, because this will be like one of the pivotal moments when something's been expressed and I've had the clarity of thought of it in this such a way, to like really be emblematic of what I want to do with my future, what I want to do in my life. But that being said, this is all like, this is me writing a wish list for my future. This isn't like reality. So it could be that I'm saying all these fantastical things and nothing comes about from it. So I don't want to just sit here and say that. And I don't expect you to just sit here and go, oh wow, yeah, he's so cool because he wants to do these things, because there's a difference between actually doing them and saying you're going to do them. So just expect me to do them then. Or don't expect me to do anything, and then when I do something, you'll be surprised and you'll be like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, I hope that hope through my deeds in the future I can just bring evidence of my capabilities, my skills, and my mission and my conviction in my mission. But the proof will be in the pudding, so we'll see. But yeah, I hope you guys have been doing well. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week for the 17th of February. Yeah, see you in a bit. Love you all.